which Libby is going to talk about in a little bit, which is the IBM Champions. The other exception is IBM Japan. But for the most part, these are organized according to technology areas. These are what we call small C communities, and those have sites of their own. You can see that they are like business automation or data science or data management or security or what have you. All of these have their own sites, and you can access these through this menu here, which we call a mega menu. When you click on one of these sites, it shows you the different groups underneath that site. Each group is basically associated with a product. It's not exactly, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute, but for the most part, every group maps to a product. So for example, Cloud Pak for Data, this group underneath Cloud Pak for Data maps to the Cloud Pak for Data product. Or underneath security, you have your different security products underneath here. But there are some exceptions to that. On the home page, the front porch here, when you log in, you'll see all the groups that you are a member of down here on the left. And because I'm a community leader, naturally, I'm a member of a ton of groups, but you won't have this many, and so it won't be quite as overwhelming for you. They're displayed in a couple of different ways, both down on the left-hand panel here and in the middle here with these tiles to make it as easy as possible to access the groups that you want to go to. Also, you can see all the different kinds of communities that you can access through here. The front porch also shows all the events that you can that we present as a community as a whole. So all the events that are listed up here on the front porch are ones that are across the community. We also try and bring attention to that kind of stuff through these three tiles at the top. So I'm going to drill down now a little farther so that you can see where Informix lives. Informix lives under the hybrid data management community, which is the one that I am in charge of, and that's why they asked me to speak. And you can see that it lives right here. But before we go straight down into the Informix group, I'm going to go to the hybrid data management community, or microsite as we sometimes call it. You can see that the communities, little c communities, which map to technology areas, look almost exactly like the front porch. And the idea behind that is to make it so that folks don't feel as if they're lost, and to give them an idea that, you know, you're in the same place. When you get there, you have this button board, and that shows that all the groups that are underneath that particular community, little c community. The data management community just happens to have a whole bunch, just because we have a lot of different data management products. You can see Informix over here, but we also have a lot of DB2 products and Netezza and other things, and that's why the list is so long. You should have seen it before I fixed it. Earlier I mentioned that the groups, the topic groups, which you can see here, don't exactly map to products. And this is a good example. So the DB2, all the DB2 different products do not have all their own topic groups. And the reason for that is because you want to have a topic group that is vibrant and active. And in some cases, a particular product may not have enough people to give you a vibrant group. If you only have 100 or 150 members in a particular group, that may not give you a vibrant enough group. And so in some cases, we have gathered together groups that are related, products that are related into one area, and DB2 is a good example. Open source is another good example. So in the open source offerings topic group, now we are in the topic group page, you can see that we have 4 different open source offerings, but they're all underneath the open source offerings topic group. They're just in one group. And there's 308 members in this group, and that's a decent number of members for a particular topic group. And if we were to split those out into separate groups, those groups wouldn't be as vibrant and active. So that's why we don't necessarily have a group for every product. So now I'm going to go down to the Informix topic group. And this is the final layer of the community. So we have the front porch or the overall layer. Then we have the community layer. And now we have the topic group layer. And this is the Informix page. And at each topic group layer, you have several areas where you can find content. There's discussion forums, which are typical discussion forums, just like you'd expect anywhere, right? And you can search through your discussion forums. They're threaded. You can flop them based on which are most recently updated, sort them according to alphabetical order. You can go through and search them however you want. Your typical discussion forum group. And because this is Informix and Informix people are very active, we've got over 4,100 posts in the Informix topic group. We also have a content library. This is where people would post stuff that is of interest to the Informix community, and it's organized however the membership wants. You can create various folders and organize it by folder name and put stuff in there, and it's whatever kind of content you want. You can have read books in there, you can have PDFs, you can have pretty much any type of content in there that you think is appropriate. And the final content area are the blogs, which is something that I also happen to oversee for the community. And these are your typical blogging content. And one thing about the blogs that I want to bring to people's attention is when you post blogs, we can promote those on both the data management homepage and on the community front porch if you work with one of the community leaders. In this case, the community leader is me. So we can put those in this area, the news area, just by tagging them appropriately. And so they'll pop up here and you can get more information or more hits on your blog posts. So I'm going to go back down to the topic group now. Another way you can pull in blog content is if you happen to blog in different areas. So a lot of people blog on Medium or they blog in other locations. If you work with the community leader, we have a way to post those blogs without incorporating them into, you don't have to blog straight through here. We can wrap those blogs in library content and still post them on the community area. And that way you can have a blog on Medium and still get the eyeballs through the community that you wouldn't otherwise get if you had just posted it on Medium. You can see that even though the membership of the Informix group may only be 479 people, the overall membership of hybrid data management community is, let's see, last time I checked, it was around 5,000. So when you do something like that, post a blog and we promote it on the home page here, you get a lot more visibility, and yeah, 5,200 people. So that's a very positive aspect of using the community for promotional purposes. The final thing that I wanted to mention with regard to the community is events. So there's two different things that the community has to offer as far as events go. The first thing is we can work with you to coordinate events. And that's something that we do as a matter of course. The second thing that we can do is we can simply promote events. So Informix, the Informix group regularly has events throughout the world, and we don't have to run them for you or coordinate them for you, but you can use our events interface and post information about them. And then, like we did for this event, and then if we promote that on the community, both the hybrid data management community homepage, and then again on the front porch, the IBM community homepage, you get all those eyeballs, and that raises the visibility of whatever event you are having. And that's a very positive thing. So that's the community in a nutshell. To recap, there's the top level, which is the front porch. There's the community home pages, which are basically technology areas, and then there are the topic groups. And that's it in a nutshell. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Bruce, are there any questions in the chat room? I can't see it right now.
Nothing in the chat, Doug.
All right. Thanks very much for your time. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Libby Ingrassia, who is our champions person. Libby, you can take it away.
Thanks, Doug. I think when you stop sharing, maybe I get the... Nope. Bruce, if you want me to share my deck, you have to give me the power. If you want to share it for me, you can
Share
do
should
that.
be at the bottom, isn't it?
It's there, but it is grayed out. It's not available.
Let's try.
But you have the deck, so you can share it too if you prefer. And while... Oh, there we go. I'm now a co-host, so nope, still not the sharing power.
Okay, let me try to get it up here.
All right, well, while Bruce works on that, I'll introduce myself and get us started so I don't waste y'all's time. My name's Libby Ingrassia, and I am the program director for the IBM Champions program. I can now share, so I will. And today, looking at the makeup of the audience here, it looks like we've got about half current IBM champions and about half other folks. So I'll talk about some things that my current IBM champions probably already know really well, but kind of focus on you folks who aren't champions today. But if you have any questions or comments, please do drop them in the chat and we will happily engage with that. So today I want to talk about two things: how non-IBM champions can engage with IBM champions, specifically, of course, the Informix champions, and what you might be interested in doing to join them. So first, there we go. Who are IBM champions and what is the IBM Champions program? The IBM Champions program will be 15 years old next year and actually started here in sort of the information areas with Informix, with DB2, to provide recognition and rewards to folks like so many of the folks on this call, so many of the champions in your own community who are experts in the technology, and they go beyond that expertise. They're driven to go beyond that expertise to share their knowledge, their experience, their the things they figure out about the products. The ones who run IIUG, the ones who write the articles and the blogs and answer the questions. Those are the folks who are the IBM champions. So the program, it recognizes them, it rewards them. We'll talk about some of those benefits in a moment. And then during the year that someone is a champion, we work to help them be even better champions. We get them early information on the roadmaps, on the products. We give them access to a community of more than 750 other IBM champions who can inspire them and help them when they need help. So, as you can see in the graphic on the left, we have champions across the IBM products, including the 25% of champions in the data and AI area, and this is where the Informix focused champions are, but also in other areas, in cloud and automation, in AI apps like Maximo, Tririga, engineering, and blockchain, storage, security, power. About 3% of our champions are lifetime IBM champions, including your own Cindy Lichtenauer, who I think is out there somewhere. And IPE stands for the partner ecosystem. So about 6% are in the partner ecosystem specifically. More than that are partners, but these folks are partners specifically for being partners with IBM. And then we have Z and then developers. So these 755 people broken up here the way you see it, they come from 56 countries around the world. They represent everything from practitioners up to the C-suite. They're business partners, as I said, but they're also customers, consultants, academics, even a few students. We select these IBM champions every year based on the advocacy and content and commitment to community that they have shown during that year. So sometimes people aren't a champion for a particular year, even if they've been one in the past and might be one in the future. That just means that that particular year, they didn't have huge contributions. There's no shame in that. We all have years where we're busy and, family or our own jobs or other things. So it definitely is a group that grows and contracts a little bit depending on the year. We are amazed at all the contributions our champions make. So far, just this year, these 750 champions have reported more than 6,000 acts of advocacy, contributions to the community. And one of the things that I recommend that you do in connecting with these IBM champions is find out about the kinds of things that they're doing. So within this, these champions for data and AI, just this small section, it's across data and AI, data science, AI, machine learning, DB2, Informix, and more. And those are the ones I assume you'll want to engage with, but as you saw, we have folks all around. So how can you work if you're not a current champion, or I guess even if you are, how can you work with these champions? First of all, I recommend that you take all of that stuff that Doug told you about the community, go to the community and try to engage with the champions. They have a little banner, I'll show you a picture of it in a minute, under their names on their profile, so you know they're a champion. But it doesn't really matter. Find the people who are answering the questions. It's either a champion or probably a future champion. Do you not want to go to the IBM community? Are you already engaged in a community? Find the champions there. Engaging with the champions lets you learn from them, lets you learn more about the program, makes your work better and easier. So I also recommend following the work that the IBM champions are doing. For me, I'm always inspired when I look at what they're doing, and I get all kinds of ideas about what I could be doing. It also means that if you're struggling with something or your company is struggling with something, you have a person out there who's willing to answer questions, help, etc. Answering questions, share stories, ask questions, connect with them. I have the second to the last bullet there, hire them, work for and with them. The other day I was on LinkedIn only looking at, at my first page of the stream, and there were no fewer than 5 jobs being listed by IBM champions. So being connected to the champions can be helpful. And then, of course, part of what I want to talk about today is giving you the opportunity to think about joining them. So if you're trying to follow their work or engage with them, we do have a Twitter stream. You can find us at IBM Champions or using the hashtag IBM Champion. When current IBM champions go out there and post, like when Lester talks about all the stuff that's going on with the Informix user group, whether it's on LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever else it is, you'll see that hashtag IBM Champion. So you can kind of follow it that way. On the far right, you just see some examples of the kinds of people and things that the champions are doing. A couple videos, webinars, webcasts, the tech talks, books, blogs, articles, all kinds of things. So now that you know kind of who the champions are and how to work with them, let's talk a little bit about why they are IBM champions and why you might be interested in becoming an IBM champion. This is not, and to be fair, almost no champion out there does what they do to get these benefits. Almost every single champion out there does what they do, makes their contributions because they're inspired from within to do so. These are just the things that I'm able to do for them to thank them for what they're doing. So we offer support, and that is, you know, the program team and I offer sort of concierge services into IBM. If there's something a champion needs and they're not finding another way to get it, we do our best to help them. We also build the community I was talking about before, making those connections and helping champions connect to IBMers and to other champions for inspiration, for support, for just the building of little C community. We also have some very specific engagements that we do with the champions, and many of them tell me that when they come off that monthly call with all the champions, they're kind of pumped up and excited and ready to go do the next thing. We really try to make it so that the champions are telling their own stories of their successes, sharing what they're doing so that everybody does feel that inspiration. We also have calls in the geographies and in topic areas, again, half inspiration, half information, where we're telling them what's coming up with a product, what's happening in the future with their product line, with their offerings, etc. We provide access to the champion community and Slack, again, to make that relationship happen. We also have plenty of opportunities where we provide, or plenty of situations where we provide opportunities, where we say, hey, we know you're doing stuff out there, but if you have the bandwidth or the interest, you might be interested in learning about this new product, sharing feedback on this offering, getting someone to do a review and we'll give you some kind of credit for that, those kinds of things. There are benefits to being a champion that are also a little bit more concrete, things like the swag. You can kind of see I'm wearing a little champion shirt. Digital badges, word marks, graphics, certificates, pins. Those are all nice to haves. Again, I know it's not why the champions do their activities. We also endeavor to give champions discounts and VIP treatments at events that IBM is either sponsoring or creating. And then we continue to give them deep dive, forward-looking information in briefings, newsletters, etc. Finally, there's the amplification, and we endeavor to make that a very two-way thing, meaning I ask the champions to share what they're doing every week, every month. And when I get that information, I try to push that out both in IBM and publicly to amplify their successes. And then when IBM has some new stories or is doing something interesting, we try to put sharing kits out there so that champions have an easy time to share if they like. One of the biggest benefits that champions tell me that they get from the program, however, is number one, the gratitude of IBM. They, in general, like being told thank you for all the work that they do. Number two, so what you see over here on the right is a customer and a business partner and what they say about being champions. For customers, it's the connection and the access and the services and the things that IBM is doing, kind of like we pull back the curtain a little bit and they feel very connected. And that's a really good feeling to those customers. To the business partners, a lot of times it's this imprimatur that makes other mutual customers feel like this is the best person to work with them, because clearly they have that expertise, they have that connection, and it's a benefit to the mutual customers. This is just a quick picture of some of our thank you gifts. On the left are the mock-ups. On the right, champions often like to post when their gifts have arrived, and sometimes we get the fashion show, and that's really fun. So that's kind of what that looks like. Right in the center, that's our annual digital badge that gets created for every champion. I said that I would show you what the profile looks like. You can see Darren Search up there in the top center, and you see that little banner under his name saying IBM Champion. That's what that looks like at the IBM Community. Down directly underneath where it says Meet the 2021 IBM Champions, if you go to ibm.biz/champions, you're going to the IBM Community and you're seeing the public face of the IBM Champions, where we have a roster of the champions that you can search for and connect with those champions at the community. You also have kind of what you see in the center, which is some highlights of what the champions are doing, again, to sort of learn from them, connect with them, be at the events where they tell us they're going to be, etc. On the far right, you see a different kind of profile, and you see the map vision. You can get to that from ibm.biz/champions, but those exist on our other more static site, which is the ibm.com/champion. So, you know a little bit about who the champions are. You know some of the benefits of being an IBM champion. As I said at the beginning, the champions are selected for a 1-year period based on the work that they have done over the previous year. Well, that opportunity, that moment for nominations and selections is open right now through the 30th of November. Now, for my current champions who are on the call, you'll all be getting an email from me that will tell you how many activities you reported this year and which renewal form that means you're eligible for. If for some reason someone doesn't get an email, feel free to reach out to me or to Stuart, and we'll catch you. But we also, of course, you can renew using the full new champion form if something happens. But everyone out there who's not a current champion, you can nominate. We'd love to have you nominate yourself or a colleague or a community member. This is your way to say thank you to someone who is creating events like this one, who is writing the blogs, who's answering the questions in the forums. If you look forward to seeing the work someone creates, that's the kind of person you should nominate to become an IBM champion. Champions are selected by reviewing their nomination forms and any available profiles that they share. And we're looking for the things that they do in areas like content creation. Those are the podcasts, the webcasts, etc. Supporting the community, external relations, customer references, events, technical contributions. We're looking for significant contributions outside of what a person gets paid to do for their job over the previous 12 months. So your call to action as I leave you today. Number 1, engage with the champions. Connect with us on social media, in the community, in your business. Find someone that you think deserves to be an IBM champion, that you would love to see thanked that way, and recognize them by nominating them. And of course, consider nominating yourself. All right, any questions that you want me to answer, Bruce, or that are in the chat?
I think we're pretty good unless somebody has some questions for you real quick, which should have been posted in the chat. Thank you all for attending this session.
Thanks so much, y'all.